Yo, what is going on, guys? It is Kyle here from SpeedBets, bringing you guys another UFC full card breakdown. And right now, we're just going to fire through this card. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to sit here and yap too much. I'm not going to try and waste too much of your time. I've been getting destroyed by my college semester, and sorry, this video is a little bit late, maybe a little bit rushed, but we're going to get right into this card. Not a lot of name value on this card, but I am excited for this one. There are some good fights, some good matchmaking, and let's hop right into it. Alright, kicking off the card here, we have Montana De La Rosa taking on Luana Carolina. Now, this week, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I'm seeing a lot of people taking Luana Carolina. Obviously, her form recently has been more kind of on point than Montana's. 3-fight win streak versus a 1-fight win streak, that one win being a split decision. But I just don't know. I don't know. I can't trust Luana Carolina. A win over Lucy Pudilova? Are you kidding me? Yeah, I mean, Lucy Pudilova's over there losing to Cecily Bolander. That Cecily Bolander's not a quality fighter, in my opinion. I don't think Lucy Pudilova's any good. All I'm saying is that Luana Carolina got taken down by Lucy Pudilova, who I do not think is good at all. Her only finish on UFC level competition for Luana Carolina, that's just that one Julia Stolyarenko elbows from crucifix. I mean, if you want to beat Julia Stolyarenko, just don't get armbarred. I mean, that's all this girl has. It's armbar, armbar, armbar. If you don't get armbarred, you win the fight. And then I'm just going to tell you guys right now, I'm not picking somebody that got knocked out by Molly McCann. Molly McCann at 125, mind you. She's looked a little bit better at 115. At 125, she's just a blob. And you got knocked out by Molly McCann. And you're supposed to be a striker. I just can't trust you. Montana De La Rosa is not a great striker. Not the best striker at all. Her edge is going to be in the grappling. She wants to push you to the cage, take you down, work the submissions, work the control. If anyone's getting a finish in this fight, it's Montana De La Rosa. Give me the more dangerous fighter. Give me the fighter. I just watched Luana Carolina get taken down by Lucy Pudilova. Yeah, she got right back up, but Montana De La Rosa is levels above Lucy Pudilova in the grappling. The fact that it was a pick'em between Luana Carolina and Lucy Pudilova scares me. It should never be a pick'em with Lucy Pudilova on the table. Give me Montana De La Rosa. She has a chance to get a submission here. I'm not going to put a whole lot on that. I might bet her decision no action bet, depending on what the odds on that are. I haven't looked yet. But I do think Montana De La Rosa is the more dangerous fighter. She can get this done. She's going to work the cage control. This might be a boring fight. But if she gets Luana Carolina to the ground, I don't see Luana Carolina really getting back up too easily. I think Montana De La Rosa is a good underdog. The fact that right now, like 85% of Tapology is picking Carolina, but the odds are still near pick'em, is a little bit weird to me. So give me Montana De La Rosa by decision. Next up, we have Charles Johnson taking on Ramazan Tamarov. Now, if you guys caught my video earlier in the year, I was talking about prospects that I'm super high on coming into this year. You know that Ramazan Tamarov is near the top of that list. I think this guy is an insane talent. I think looking at his record, he has 11 knockouts at 125. You don't find many people that are getting knockouts on the feet. It's not even like ground and pound. Like, he's getting actual flatline knockouts at 125, which is insane. This guy is just super compact, 5'4", little ball of muscle, and he's coming through. He's swinging wild. This guy's not super technical. He's not setting up behind a jab. He's not setting up the proper leg kicks. This guy's coming forward and he's swinging with ill intentions. Charles Johnson is a very good fighter. This guy has been on a run recently, 4 wins in a row, I think all coming within the year 2024. But before that, it's hard to ignore the fact that this guy lost 3 in a row to some questionable names. Estevan, we just saw him come back again off that injury. He still looked good. He took on Jesus Aguilar, not a very tough opponent to beat, but he got it done. Losing to Cody Durden's a little iffy. Cody Durden's kind of like a gatekeeper type. And then the split decision loss to Ode Osborne is a little bit concerning. But what I will say about Charles Johnson, he's never been finished. Ramazan Tamarov needs to land the big shots in his fights. That's how he's winning. 11 fucking knockouts. Like, this guy's insane. So I think that if Ramazan wins this fight, it's going to be because he has the power. Maybe he lands a knockdown or something on Charles Johnson. The only issue is typically Charles Johnson is the one knocking people down. Okay, in 3 of his last 4 fights, Charles Johnson has landed a knockdown. He did get knocked down by Azat Maxim, but I think that's kind of the threat of the takedown. Ramazan Tamarov has mixed in takedowns before in some of the tape I've watched, but it's nothing crazy. He's nothing like the Azat Maxims or those type of guys that Charles Johnson's fighting. I think this is a very competitive fight, ultra competitive on the feet. It's going to be a matter of kind of damage versus volume. I think Ramazan Tamarov is going to get this one done. I am not betting this fight. I think if anything, I'm going to take a shot on Charles Johnson plus 3.5. But I can't pick a side in this fight. It's ultra competitive, 2 completely different styles. Charles Johnson could potentially mix in the wrestling. We saw him get 2 takedowns last time out against Sumaderji, but Sumaderji doesn't have the base that Ramazan Temirov had. I mean, this taking down a 5'4" guy is tough. Charles Johnson's going to have a huge reach advantage, a huge height advantage. I think he can use that to his advantage. Like I said, it's going to come down to volume versus damage. I'm going to edge Ramazan Temirov out here, but I don't feel confident in that pick whatsoever. Next fight up, we have another women's banger here. We have Andrea Lee taking on JJ Aldridge. Now, everyone seems to be writing Andrea Lee off because she's lost 5 in a row. Yeah, that's fair. I'm not going to lie to you. That's a fair thing to do. Now, Andrea Lee is coming off that 5-fight loss streak, like I just said, but listen to these names. Viviane Araújo, Macy Barber, Natalia Silva, Miranda Maverick, Montana De La Rosa. 2 of those are split decisions. I genuinely do think she beat Macy Barber. And Macy Barber's a good talent. That's not a bad win. That's nothing to scoff at, kind of. So those losses, I mean, when you look at them, Natalia Silva, I'm picking her to smoke Alexa Grasso, future champion. Viviane Araújo, kind of perennial gatekeeper, top 10 type. Miranda Maverick, on the come up, another one. I think she's going to end up being kind of a perennial gatekeeper, like a Viviane Araújo. But right now she's on the come up. That's not a bad loss. Montana De La Rosa is a little bit sketchy, but like split decision, super close, kind of damage versus control type scoring. And then we have JJ Aldridge. Just lost to Veronica Hardy, and I didn't think she really looked great in that fight. She beat Montana De La Rosa, so if you want to play MMA math, JJ Aldridge should win right there. And then, a win over Nali Yang, really. Lost to Ariane Lipski de Silva, Erin Blanchfield. She got standing gillied by Blanchfield. That's not a great look, because Blanchfield's, tiny. But I'm picking Andrea Lee. We're going double women's dogs on this card. Andrea Lee, I'm sick, and these odds are disgusting. You can pick a JJ Aldridge, but to bet on JJ Aldridge at minus 200 is absurd. JJ Aldridge shouldn't be a minus 200 favorite over anyone, ever. I mean, not even just a diss. I mean, she just always fights super, super close. Same thing with Andrea Lee. If Andrea Lee was a favorite, I'd be telling you guys to bet on JJ Aldridge. This should not be a favorite in this fight. This should be a pick'em. Neither one of these fighters are good. Yes, Andrea Lee's older. Yes, she's married to a dude with swastikas tattooed on him. But regardless of that fact, Andrea Lee can more or less do exactly what Veronica Hardy just did to beat JJ Aldridge. JJ Aldridge is a slow starter. Veronica Hardy just didn't give her a chance to start. The reason that was a unanimous instead of a split is because Aldridge didn't do anything. I mean, Veronica Hardy just didn't give her a chance. Andrea Lee can do that. What does JJ Aldridge do well? She's not a great striker. She's not a great grappler. She's not great at any. She just does a little bit of everything, but nothing well. Andrea Lee, we can at least say she's a good striker. I can say that Andrea Lee has pretty good Muay Thai. Can she grapple? No. Can she defend takedowns? Not really. Can she do anything super well besides Muay Thai striking? No. But she has that one thing. And sometimes in women's MMA, that's all you need. JJ Aldridge isn't going out there shooting 5 takedowns a fight, gonna just murder her on the ground like Montana De La Rosa. That's not her style. Andrea Lee is the better striker, and this fight's probably going to be a sloppy striking fest with a little bit of clinching on the cage. In that type of fight, I'm picking Andrea Lee. The odds are just a bonus. I'd pick Andrea Lee even if it was a pick'em. I mean, let's look at this right here. JJ Aldridge, 0.66 takedowns per 15 minutes. 23% takedown accuracy. Never attempted a submission in the UFC. Are you kidding me? Andrea Lee, this fight's going to be on the ground. Andrea Lee's the way better striker. I mean, you just look at this. Better striking defense, less strikes absorbed per minute, same exact significant strike percentage, and she's landing almost 1 full significant strike more per minute. I know in WMMA the sig strikes don't really matter because they're not all that significant a lot of the time if it's like a jab or something. Andrea Lee's literally better everywhere on the stats, and then the only reason she's an underdog, like I've been saying, is because she's on this loss streak to people like Natalia Silva, who's going to be a future champion. Give me Andrea Lee by split decision. It's how it's going to go, but that's the pick. You could parlay up both the women's dogs by decision, probably give you a nice +5, +600. I think it's worth a shot. I think it's going to come through for us. Next up, we have Danny Silva taking on Lucas Almeida. Now, I just want to show you guys something. Let's look at these significant strike numbers real quick. Holy shit. Okay. Now, Danny Silva doesn't have many UFC fights, okay? He's got 1 in the Contender Series, and he's got 1 in the UFC. So that's what these numbers are based on. So I don't want to look too heavily into that. But man, 9.4 significant strikes absorbed per minute. That's unfortunate. He's landing 8.3 though. This guy's swinging and banging. But yeah, all right, we'll get off that. But Lucas Almeida, this guy is another one who doesn't really do anything too well. I think he's a better striker than anything else, but he does have a lot of submissions. This guy is a fight finisher for the most part. Only been to decision twice in his career, 1-1 record there. Danny Silva's only lost once in his career, Only losses over in the LFA, majority decision. He didn't even really get washed. Danny Silva, I think he can lay the volume on him. Like I just said, his 6 strike numbers are off the charts. That's obviously amplified by the fact that Angel Pacheco is a standing punchy bag. And then Josh Kulibau, he was just standing and banging with him for most of the fight. But when Danny Silva needed it most, he got the takedowns. He secured the takedowns, got a little ground control, won the 3rd round. Now, I think he can do the same thing more or less to Lucas Almeida. I don't think Lucas Almeida is anything special. 2-2 in the promotion, got knocked out by Andre Fili. Choked out by Pat Sabatini. That's going to happen to the best of us. That guy's a monster on the mat. But Andre Fili, really? I mean, that was last year as well. I mean, yeah, Timmy Kwamba's 0-2 in the promotion. Not too great of a win to really have as your best win, your most notable win, your only win. Because he did beat Michael Trizano. I didn't see that. But regardless, I think Danny Silva's going to be able to do just enough. This fight's very close. Danny Silva's sitting at like a -200, -210 favorite right now. I don't know if I can justify those odds. I put him in a parlay at -160. I think those were fair odds for the fight, but I mean, the odds have just since skyrocketed. I think if you didn't get him already, you missed out on the value. Maybe take a shot on him by decision. Lucas Almeida is a fight finisher, so if you want to bet his like decision, no action. But at the same time, it's hard to say, man. I think Lucas Almeida inside the distance or Danny Silva by decision. Those are the 2 bets you could possibly make for this fight. Give me Danny Silva on the cards. Next up, Douglas Silva de Andrade taking on John Castaneda. Douglas Silva de Andrade, guy's like 39. Shaved his head for the last fight. He was scaring me a little bit looking at me bald like that. He is coming off that staring contest loss to Miles Johns. Neither fighter did a single thing in that fight. That was embarrassing. That was hard to watch. I think if I'm remembering right, that was like a co-main event to a fight night, and that was just, the ball was dropped. I mean, I almost didn't care about the main event after this fight. It was horrible to watch. If you look at the numbers for the fight, it's like they each have like 30 or 46 strikes. There was not 36 strikes thrown. There was not 30 significant strikes thrown. It was like 10 versus 10. I mean, I don't even know how to describe that fight. It was horrendous to watch. Just 2 guys who respected each other's power, didn't want to get hit, kind of like an Ngannou-Lewis type of thing. But they're obviously not like that. John Castaneda, on the other hand, this guy's exciting. Coming forward, he's always going to strike. His Daniel Marcos fight, he kind of got his ass kicked, almost got finished up a few times there. He was on wobbly legs. Went over Muin Gufarov, Kyung Ho Kang. Not great wins. Lost to Daniel Santos. This guy's losing to everyone named Daniel, I guess. Holy shit. These are both some guys with really good takedown defense. Neither one of these guys is going to change levels. Castaneda's getting hit a little bit more than Andrade, but I don't think it's going to matter. If Andrade looks anything like he did in his last fight, he's just going to get 30-27 by Castaneda. But on the other hand, if Douglas Silva and Andrade lands big on him, Castaneda, again, was coming off wobbly legs a lot in his last fight. Now, for the most part, Douglas Silva and Andrade, you could say he's a fight finisher. But in the UFC, I wouldn't necessarily say so. It's been like 60% decisions in the UFC, and most of his knockout wins came on the regional scene in some like pitbull fighting promotion. A lot of those guys don't even have Tapology pages. Like, they've only fought once. I'm going to hesitantly take John Castaneda here, but I'm not confident in this pick at all. Douglas Silva de Andrade, yes, he is getting up there in age, but he's not out. This guy didn't go out there and get slept by Miles Johns. He just had a staring contest. That's the Miles Johns effect that happens to people. Generally speaking, Douglas Silva de Andrade is only losing to good fighters. Jerome Murphy, Piotr Jan, Saider Magomedov, Rob Font, these are some good names. He only has 6 losses. The guy's been doing this for like 20 years. Like I said, hesitantly, I'm going to pick John Castaneda. The youth, the aggressiveness, I think it's going to matter. But do not be surprised at all if Douglas Silva de Andrade finds a big shot, wobbles him, steals a round after getting outstruck for the whole round. But I do think John Castaneda is going to do enough here. Give me Castaneda by decision. Now this fight right here is pretty straightforward. Ricardo Ramos taking on Chepe Mariscal. The way Ricardo Ramos wins this fight is by a fluke. The odds on Chepe Mariscal are a little crazy. He's like -500, -550 right now. Is it crazy to say that's justified? I mean, Chepe's body of work is kind of next to none in this division. For like an unranked fighter, this guy had a whole UFC career before the UFC. He fought Gregor Gillespie. He fought Pat Sabatini, Bryce Mitchell, Joanderson Brito, Steve Garcia. This guy's body of work, like I said, it's next to none in the division. He's only had 4 UFC fights. Guess what? He's 4-0. Did he rob Morgan Charrier? Yeah. Did he get a fluke over Jack Jenkins? Yeah. He still showed good skills. He took out Trevor Peek. No, I'm obviously exaggerating. I don't think Trevor Peek is that good, but Chepe is a very good fighter. This guy does pretty much everything well. He's a good striker. I think he used to be like a striking coach at one of the UFC gyms. This guy does everything well. Ricardo Ramos doesn't, Generally speaking, Chepe's landing more, getting hit less, taking people down more, stuffing the takedowns. He's doing everything. He's doing all of the things you need to do to win a fight. I think Chepe Mariscal is going to kind of style on Ricardo Ramos. I don't rate Ricardo Ramos very highly. Split decision against Josh Kulibao, lost. He got choked out by Jourdain and Erosa. These are two guillotine merchants. The fact that you're like shooting takedowns on them to get guillotined is insane. It's like when Victor Henry took on Charles Jourdain, he got guillotined. It wasn't the first time the guillotine was threatened in that fight. I don't know what on earth Victor Henry was doing there. That was some of the lowest fight IQ I've seen in a long time. Give me Chepe Mariscal. He is not very much of a fight finisher, I'm going to be honest. So give me him by decision. The way Ricardo Ramos wins this fight, if you want some fun bets, if you have any of those books like BetMGM where you can bet exact outcomes, bet on Ricardo Ramos by spinning elbow. You'll probably get like 25 or 30 to 1. I literally think that's how he wins this fight if he wins. It's by some fluke knockout. This guy's constantly throwing spinning elbows. To his credit, he's gotten it twice in the UFC. For Danny Chavez and Amian Zahabi, he has 2 spinning elbow knockouts. He's going to be throwing it. Chepe's just got to duck or step back or something. If he gets caught by a spinning elbow, I might just fucking end it all, but give me Chepe by decision. Alright, wouldn't be a speed bets video if it wasn't randomly stopped for like jiu-jitsu training or something in the middle. So we're back now. We got Austin Lane taking on Mario Pinto. Now, Mario Pinto, this guy's like a Portuguese, kind of just super technical, not even technical. This guy is just kind of a weird stance kickboxer. He's fighting over in Levels Fight League for a while. He won like a heavyweight Grand Prix they had. We've seen this guy go the distance. He looks pretty good. He's got some serious pop. He looks like the real deal. The only problem is he's debuting. He's a minus 400. The guy he's fighting is Austin Lane. Now, I haven't been too high on Austin Lane ever in my life because every single loss on this guy's record is a knockout loss. Almost all of them in the first round. He's been slept 2 times in the UFC, been slept once in the Contender Series. He's just not had the most success. Obviously, we know he's like the former football player. He's got good tackles, good takedowns, got decent control on the ground. He wants the fight to be on the ground. Does he always get it there? No, but that's where he kind of wants it to be. In the original scene, he was able to get away with striking with these guys. In the UFC, you can't do that. If he tries to strike with Mario Pinto, he's going to be put out. Now, we haven't really seen Mario Pinto's grappling tested to the fullest extent, but he does look relatively athletic, which says a lot for the heavyweight division. If he stops the takedowns, he's going to knock out Austin Lane. I think he is going to stop the takedowns. I have a full unit on Mario Pinto by knockout, and that's going to be the call. Mario Pinto, first round knockout. Onto the main card, Danny Barlow taking on Sam Patterson. Now this one right here to me just screams fight does not go the distance. Who's going to win this fight? I'm not exactly too sure. A lot of people are very confident in Danny Barlow. I don't share that same confidence. I don't think Danny Barlow is all that great. The performances against Josh Quinlan and Nikolai Veretennikov, they don't really scream future champion to me. A lot of people are praising this guy super highly. I just don't see it. Against Nikolai Veretennikov, that fight just aged absolutely horribly. We just saw how Mr. Van Zant handled him, and that's not a good look. Sam Patterson, on the other hand, he's had some promise in him. Obviously, he suffered that early knockout loss. Yanala Schmooze put him down, but he's bounced back with 2 submissions, and he's looking good. I feel like he really found out how he wants to use his length. He's not going to keep you on the end of a stiff jab, and I don't think that he's incredibly chinny at 170. I would like to say Danny Barlow may not have a professional loss. He does have 1 amateur loss, and that comes via submission. Got caught in a heel hook back in the day. Can Sam Patterson replicate that? I don't know. We just saw Don'Tale Mayes get heel hooked for the 2nd time in his career. Stuff like that does come back to bite fighters sometimes if they're not training it properly. I think Sam Patterson's incredibly live to win this fight by sub. We haven't seen Danny Barlow tested on the ground against a guy with good jits. We haven't really seen Sam Patterson tested against a decent 170 striker either. Danny Barlow isn't that good. He has a left hand. That's it. That's all this guy throws. That's all he does. It's his nickname, left-handed guy. It's all he throws. He isn't a quality striker. In my opinion, this guy is never going to be ranked. Never going to really even come close. That's probably the closest he's going to come. I'd pick majority of the fighters in that 15 to 25 range to absolutely spark Danny Barlow. But I think I'm gonna settle in with the Sam Patterson underdog call. I really do think that his submission threat is live. He is also very live to get chinned. Like I said, the official call is just this fight does not go the distance. But give me a little something on Sam Patterson by submission. All right, now this fight right here is one of the more confident ones on the card. We got William Gomi taking on Haider Emil. I'm just going to say it how it is. I think Haider Emil is one of the worst undefeated fighters in the entire UFC. He might be the worst undefeated fighter. This guy is just a brawler. How this guy's undefeated, I don't know. He is a glorified brawler and nothing but that. William Gomi is ultra technical. William Gomi is going to put you to sleep with how he fights. His fight style is incredibly boring. I've never been excited. This guy managed to make a U. Anderson Brito fight boring. You have to respect his ability to stick to the game plan. He doesn't deviate, not once. This guy is ultra technical. He does not care. He's going to do whatever it takes to win. And in this fight, Haider Emil is going to be swinging at air for 15 minutes. I mean, this guy is running in, swinging big hooks. In his last fight out against Jung Young Lee, this guy looked like he wanted to get hit. Every single shot Haider Emil throw, Lee was putting his head in the way of it, like he was trying to catch the punches with his forehead. He didn't move his head unless it was because Haider Emil was going to miss his punch. What I'm saying is that Haider Emil is not good. I don't think he's that good of a fighter. I really don't. I think the odds in this fight should be William Gomi minus 500. We're going skill for skill. William Gomi is by far the best fighter out of these two. Not even remotely close. But you have to account for the fact that Haider Emil has that kind of tard strength. He's just going to run at you, winging big hooks. Can he land one? I don't think he can. I think William Gomi's striking defense is sound. His defensive abilities are super sound. Only 2 losses on his career are to Morgan Charrier, who we know is legit, Saladin Parnazi, or however you want to say his name, that gets a double champ over in KSW now. Like multiple time defending double champ. That guy's also legit. Like those are not bad losses to have. Haider Emil would lose to both those fighters too. I know he would. So give me William Gomi. Very confident in this pick. By decision, of course. But I'm going to put a little preface on that. Haider Emil throws himself in some very questionable positions. William Gomi could absolutely land a counter shot knockout. Just because this guy's not a big knockout guy, same reason we picked Fares Ziam by knockout against Matt Frevola. It didn't happen exactly the way we called it, but when you're fighting a guy like Frevola, a guy like Emil, who put themselves in dangerous positions, compromised positions over and over, you're going to get chinned sometime. And I think this could be Haider Emil's time. Another bet could be this fight to end by knockout, because obviously if Haider Emil wins, that's his win condition. I don't mind that bet at all. But give me William Gomi by decision. Next fight up, we have Nasrat Haqparast taking on Esteban Ribovics. Now, Nasrat Haqparast, in my opinion, did not really win his last fight. We won a lot of money because we had a lot of money on him, because I thought he should have walked through Jared Gordon. But he couldn't. Very tit for tat, and I think he lost. Esteban Ribovics, on the other hand, came through for us as a big underdog against Daniel Zellhuber. Called that one right. We picked Ribovics to get the finish. Zellhuber was almost out of there a bunch of times, but we still got the underdog call right, so I'll take that. Now this fight right here is interesting. I think it's just high output versus high output. Does someone go down? I'm not too sure. If anyone does go down, I think it's going to be Nasrat. I don't really respect Nasrat's chin that much. We saw him put out against Dober. I think something like that could happen again here. Ribovics hits hard. He hits often. Let's look at these striking numbers here. Ribovics landing like 7.5 significant strikes per minute. Nasrat around 6. They both get hit about 5 strikes per minute. That's impressive given both these guys don't exactly have like short UFC careers. Ribovics has 4 fights, 3 of which have been to decision, so those numbers actually are legit. Nasrat has like 13 fights. And get this, okay? This guy, obviously he fought Dan Hooker. Pretending he didn't fight Dan Hooker for 1 second, the best opponent this guy's ever faced is Bobby Green. If you want to take a step down from Bobby Green, I don't even know who the second or the third best fighter he's fought is. I mean, in 13 UFC fights, listen to these names. Jared Gordon, Jamie Malarkey, Landon Quinones, John Makdessi, Rafa Garcia, Alex Munoz. I mean, he just hasn't fought anybody somehow. This guy's been in the UFC for like 8 years and he's managed to avoid everyone. I don't know if he just loses in the right times. I mean, every time this guy fights someone decent like Bobby Green, Dan Hooker, Drew Dober, he just loses. He's never actually beat anyone that's like worth a damn. And that sounds really rude, I mean, to these UFC guys. They'd all kick the absolute fucking shit out of me. Don't get that twisted. But he just hasn't fought anyone that's good, and if he does fight anyone that's decent, he loses. I think Ribovics is pretty damn good, so give me Ribovics here. Knockout or decisions, obviously the official call. I'm leaning more towards a decision call. Nasrat's been tough, but he could definitely go down. So give me a little sprinkle on that Ribovics by knockout. Next up, we have the co-main event, Cody Brundage taking on Julian Marquez. I have one thing to say about this fight. Why the hell is Julian Marquez a favorite? I mean, dude, we want to talk shit about Cody Brundage, sure, 4-5 in the promotion. Julian Marquez is 3-4. They're like the same fucking fighter, except Julian Marquez is coming off 3 knockout losses. What are we doing? Albeit it's Gregory Rodriguez, sure, that's gonna happen. Marc-Andre Barriault, Zach Reese, and that was in like 20 seconds. What are we doing? Cody Brundage isn't the most dangerous guy in the world, but he sure is how more dangerous than being an underdog to a guy coming off 3 knockout losses, the last one being in 20 seconds. What am I supposed to pick Julian Marquez because he strangled Sam Alvey 4 years ago? Why, because he strangled Maki Pitolo 4 years ago? Maki Pitolo is getting finished up by Eric McConico. What are we doing? Is Julian Marquez live to win this fight by guillotine choke? I kind of, maybe. He might be. I don't know if Cody Brundage is stupid enough to shoot on this guy. He should stand and bang with him and beat the shit out of him. At the end of the day, Cody Brundage is a wrestler. We saw when hard times got tough against Abdul Razak, he did shoot a takedown. That was a good sign. I mean, there is a world where Cody Brundage is just beating his ass on the feet and then decides to shoot in for a takedown and gets like guillotine choked or darced or something. That's a real possibility. Man, yeah, now I'm thinking about that. It's a decent possibility. But Cody Brundage should be the better fighter, better wrestler, better striker, worse pure submission game, I think. But I mean, we just haven't seen either of these guys perform well in the UFC. High level just does not scream these guys. Yeah, I don't know. Julian Marquez, his best wins like Matt Hamill. I mean, John Jones can't even beat that guy. It's pretty impressive. But I mean, all jokes aside, it's like Sam Alvey, Phil Hawes, Maki Pitolo, and who? I mean, he just doesn't have any of those performances that really make you think he's going to work Cody Brundage. Cody Brundage is coming off probably some brain damage. Abdul Razak was elbowing the shit out of the back of his head. That should have been a DQ. The Malkoun one, whatever, that could have been probably a TKO loss for Brundage. That's fine. But that last one should have been a DQ on Abdul Razak. He was fucking hammering the back of his head. Then obviously Bo Nickel, yeah, set up fight. He kind of exposed like how the wrestling works in the UFC. These high-level wrestlers, you can't just come in and double leg everyone. That's not how it works. I won some money on Cody Brundage betting against Malkoun, so I'm not too upset about that. I won some more money betting on him against Zach Reese. And then I lost a little bit against Bo Nickel. Thought I'd take a long shot, but it didn't come through for me. But at the end of the day, I think I'm more of a Cody Brundage fan here. Give me Cody Brundage. I think he can do this. I think he can get it done by knockout. If he wants to wrestle, I think he can. He just needs to be safe, tuck that chin. But I think to be 100% safe, I'm going to take a flyer on Julian Marquez by submission. Maybe some exact submissions like guillotine, darce, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, give me Cody Brundage here. I think he smokes. Main event, Manel Kape taking on Hasu ALMABAYEV. Now I'm just going to say it how it is. I'm an avid Manel Kape hater. If you don't want to hear some Manel Kape slander, just click off the video right now. I'm picking Asu. Not a ton of confidence, but I am picking Asu. Now, Manel Kape, he thrives against these like low-level only strikers. Bruno Silva, yeah, he had a showcase, sure. Did I pick Bruno Silva to beat Manel Kape? Sure, yeah, I did. I picked against Manel Kape a lot, and guess what? It works out for me more times than it doesn't. Also, Manel Kape's pulled out of like 30 fucking fights. This guy does not fight. He misses weight, he pulls out, he gets in everything. This guy does not fight. And you want to know why picking against Manel Kape works so much? Because the dude has 7 losses. He's like barely 30 with more losses than some journeymen have. I mean, he's got a win over like Ian McCall. Like, what are we doing? Before you say who's Ian McCall, that's one of the wins that Demetrius Johnson has that make people think he was the greatest of all time. He also had a draw to Ian McCall. So let's just put that out there. But Manel Kape, I mean, generally pretty high volume, except when he's fighting a wrestler. People want to say it was his broken toe or whatever. No, it's the fear of the takedown. I'm sure the toe had a part to play in it. I'm not saying the broken toe against Mokaev was irrelevant. The fact of the matter is, he does not want to get taken down. If he does get taken down, he can scramble back to his feet. Ankalaev doesn't have the best control. Asu doesn't have the best control. But KAPE does not want to get taken down. I think Asu is going to have an edge in just the fact that he has a style that KAPE does not want to fight. KAPE was probably going to want to fight Royval because Royval bangs it out more than he doesn't. I don't think Royval was going to shoot takedowns on KAPE and hold him against the fence. Asu is going to do nothing but that. Asu, this guy's a decision merchant. He's going to make KAPE go full 5, and he's going to be there the whole time, just pushing him against the cage, trying to take him down. His last name ends in EV. He probably randomly has 5-round cardio. We have no idea. We have no way of knowing. But let's just say he probably does. Actually, just kidding. I just checked. He does have some regional fight title experience, full 5 rounds. He held up just fine. He also got a submission in the defense. So this guy is like a submission threat, or at least he was on the regional scene. In the UFC, he hasn't shown it so much, but KAPE, he can get submitted. KAPE has been submitted twice on the regional scene. I would not be surprised if Asu is shooting for that. This guy, he's just going to take him down, try and get the back, hold him down, hold him against the cage. Asu's just an annoying fighter to fight. He's like that guy who's not really going to like put you out on the feet. I think he has like 1 or 2 career knockouts. And it's just KAPE is kind of knockout or bust. This guy doesn't generally have good decision performances. He either smokes you or he doesn't. And I think in this fight he doesn't. I think Asu is going to have that takedown threat, and that's going to put KAPE at a slower pace, slower output. He's not going to be throwing kicks. KAPE thrives when he can throw like the kicks and his hands. He's not going to throw the kicks because he doesn't want to get him caught and taken down. That's one thing when you're fighting these high-level wrestlers, you cannot be throwing kicks. They're going to get caught. I think Asu is going to win here. I think it's going to be very, very competitive. I would not recommend betting on this fight. We got Asu at like crazy odds, like plus 230 or something. I wouldn't recommend betting KAPE at anything higher than he is now. I think KAPE is the rightful favorite. I do. I really think KAPE should be the favorite here. I understand why Asu's the dog, stepping in semi-short notice. I think he has the juice. I think this guy gets it done. Yeah, I'm picking ALMABAYEV by decision. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like. Let me know if you thought my picks were shit. You think my picks were good. Make sure you join the Discord. Top link in the description. We're killing it right now. We're crushing hockey. We're crushing basketball. We're crushing UFC. We're crushing everything more than just UFC. And I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Peace out.